Alright, what is going on, guys? Spiteful is back again, coming at you with a breakdown on Transcendence. Now, I wanted to wait for Caleb to actually put out more content and actually give us more resources to actually be able to do this Transcendence function before just making a guide that was completely incomplete. Now, this is going to be a complete guide, and whether or not they revamp the soul ticket function, the soul tickets, because they said that they might give us more, this guide should serve just fine regardless of how many soul tickets they actually give us. Now, my recommendation, especially to newer players, guys, do not worry too much about the Transcendence function. Sure, you might have a limited amount of resources every month. However, I highly suggest that you crawl before you run, work on your accessories, get at least attack 20, SP 20, and like on all the accessories that you mainly use for your best characters. You don't have to go for attack 30, you don't have to go for SP 30. No one's gonna roast you for having attack 20, especially nowadays, especially if you're a newer player. Most of the people that you see doing YouTube and stuff like that, we might have attack 30 rolls and SP 30 rolls, but we've been playing this game for literally years, and now is honestly the best time to play this game. Going into it, the Transcendence function in a nutshell is simply just an increase to the character's base stats. It's pretty much the next way of actually being able to evolve your characters. And in my opinion, what I really love about this function is, one, it serves as a dupe system, and it also serves as a way to differentiate yourself as a player based on what characters you actually choose to transcend. So there are plenty of people I've seen with max transcended 1000-Year Blood War Renjis, max transcended True Bankai Ichigos, max transcended Tokinatas. I've seen max transcended Mashiros. I've seen max transcended Cons. Now, I do feel like this system was brought on because there's a very low level of diversity when it comes to these characters. Any character that is link slotted, it was going to have the same stats as another person that's link slotted. Everyone runs the same types of accessories. Maybe one person has attack 20, maybe one person has attack 30, but for the most part, every single character was run the same. And I feel like this was a way for Caleb to actually differentiate characters quite a bit. Now, sure, a max transcended character is going to be the same as another max transcended characters, but with the way that gacha games work, it's very unlikely that every character is going to have the same max transcended character as, like, say, the person next to you, which I think is at the end of the day a very good thing. Now, going into it, what max transcendence is an increase in base stats according to your character's special move level, as well as your investment into this dupe system. So we're going to go into my Tokinata because I currently have him 1 out of 5, so I can pretty much show you how this works. Now, as you can see here, his base attack is 1273, which is quite massive because I do have a level 10 attack slot on him. You can also see that I have everything else here locked. Depending on my special move level, I will unlock the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So if I want to unlock this one, I'm going to need a special move level 2. If I want this one, I need a special move level 3, and so on and so forth. When you unlock the 5th slot, you also unlock the extra stat boost lottery. Alright, so here we are on Mamasharo, and as you can see here, I do have access to the extra stat boost lottery. You can use Transcendence points, or you can use an identical character. It could be a 5-star, could be a 6-star, could be a resurrected 6-star if that is available. And what it pretty much does is it allows you to roll another slot, and it goes in one of 3 levels for each stat. So there are currently 15 different effects that you could roll. Stamina goes from 250, 500, 1000. SP and attack will go from 125 to 250 to 500, and defense will be 75, 150, 300, and focus will actually go from 250 to 500 to 1000. Now, the best rolls are going to obviously be attack level 3, focus level 3, and spiritual pressure level 3, but the rate on actually pulling that when you're using Transcendence points is very, very low. So if you want attack, SP, or focus, it's only a 12% chance. If you're only going for SP, then you have a 4% chance, but if you don't mind getting the level 2, you also have an extra 6% chance. These rolls are very low, and these rolls are also very expensive. Caleb has since put out an update where if you sell a 5-star character, you will actually get 20,000 Transcendence points, which means you get at least 1 roll in the lottery, which is really nice. Now, if I click here, click Transcendence, and go to lottery. Now, I know you guys are wondering, it's like, why are you doing this on Mashiro? That's a lot of points. Reason being is my Mugetsu is max transcended, and these base stats that get increased actually go towards link slots as well. So if it's not focus, Okay, see, as you can see here. All right, so we got stamina 250. Now the reason that this is important is these base stats. Now here comes the part that I actually really like about Transcendence is since this increases the character's base stat, this actually translates when it comes down to link slot potions. All right, so here we are at the character link augmentation screen. As you can see here, I have my Soifon linked to my Mashiro, and she gives an extra 164 attack, which is 20% of the base attack that Soifon has. However, my Stark, for example, I currently have him 5 out of 5 special, and I also have a level 3 attack roll, which gives him an extra 500 attack. That 500 attack, 20% of that is 100. So when I go to give Stark to the Mashiro, as you can see here, we get almost an extra 100 attack over this Soifon, which means that he's actually a better link than Soifon is, which is kind of wild because back in the day, it simply just, okay, every level 200 gives the same stats to any character that they go to, but now we have the Transcendence function and we can get a much higher attack bonus. Now, obviously, a character like my Mugetsu is going to give not only more attack than most of the characters, but he's also going to give more SP as well because his base stats are off like through the roof. Alright, so here we are at the inventory screen. I just wanted to give you a quick show. Now if I try to sell a character, I will get 20,000 Transcendence points, and if I try to sell a free-to-play 5-star character, I'll only get 2. If they're a raid material, I'll get 1,000. If they're a free-to-play farmable ascendable 5-star, and when I go to the 4 stars, you get 20 for the 4 stars, and you also get 10 for the 3 stars. So they actually changed the way that Transcendence points were acquired, and now you can actually feed the 5 stars as ascension material, and you will still actually get the Transcendence points you would normally get for actually feeding them up. This being said, if you feed the character as ascension material, the same character for special move, you will not get the Transcendence points. You will increase their special move level by 1. If you do plan to sell a character, my recommendation is honestly just use them as ascension material, so that way you can save yourself like a bunch of 4 stars or 3 stars or whatever you're trying to like get. Another thing. Alright, so as you can see here, we are at my Aizen. He is currently 5 out of 5 special. I have a level 3 SP slot, and what I could do is I could re-roll this slot with 20,000 Transcendence points, or I can feed the Aizen. And as you can see here, it says max rarity guaranteed. This signifies that I will get a level 3 6th slot, and instead of it being 4% chance, this now becomes 20% chance because you automatically are guaranteed the level 3 slot, and it is 1 of 5 chance to get SP, 1 of 5 chance to get focus, 1 of 5 chance to get attack, etc, etc. So when you get a duplicate character now, it's not necessarily the end of the world. You don't have to worry about it because at the very least you are guaranteed at least 1 Transcendence point roll or 1 identical character for a max roll. Alright, so this is now my max transcended Mugetsu form Ichigo. 2000 base stamina, 1100 base attack, 650 base defense, 2300 base focus, 1300 base spiritual pressure. But guys, I want to recommend this especially to newer players who don't really have a crazy amount of resources. Max transcending a character requires a ton of resources. Like this is not really realistic, especially for a new player. My recommendation, especially as a new player, is honestly work on 1 to 2 of these Transcendence slots, especially if you want to go for like SP/focus or attack/focus, depending on the type of character you're trying to transcend. My recommendation is to manage your resources, and when it comes to transcending characters, honestly, my biggest recommendation for you as a player on who to transcend will always be choose a character that you enjoy playing. Pick your favorite character that you know can clear content normally without Transcendence, and they will excel when they are transcended. After that, you can go for like the broken characters if you want to do like broken, busted PvE units, or vice versa if that's the way that you like to play. I know a lot of people that are working on Soifon first because she clears much quicker than most of these other characters, and her getting transcended honestly just makes her, it just puts her on the same it just puts her on the same playing field as everybody else that's coming out nowadays. Transcendence on a character that is over a year old is actually not necessarily even a bad thing, because it literally, we're all able to kill everything in one hit, but honestly, choose who you actually like to play with first, and then move on from there. Alright, and we are back at my Mashiro, and as you can see, getting a character from level 1 SP to level 5 SP actually gives a much bigger bonus than it going to level 2 to level 3 to level 4. The biggest boosts are from level 5 to level 10, just the same as link slot potions. These resources do start hitting you relatively hard, especially as a new player. So like I said, manage your resources, pick someone that you really care about, or someone that you really want to work on. It requires 40 small scrolls, 20 medium scrolls, 30 affiliation scrolls. If the character is a Soul Reaper / Captain or a Spada / Arankar, you will actually need half and half. So this Soul Reaper, if they were a Captain, it would be 15 Soul Reaper, 15 Captain, 15 Arankar, 15 Espada. Like, that's pretty much how it's going to go for there. And as you can see here, you need 3 Hogyokus per you're going to need 3 Hogyokus per level. So a level 10 SP is going to require 27 because you're going from level 1 to 10. The first slot is free, and I highly advise you unlock everyone's first slot, especially if you use them as a link or if you use them as a character. Alright, so going up to the level 10, as you can see here, we require a lot more resources than before. A level 5 requires 40 and 20. So as you see, the small scrolls require 40, medium scrolls 20, and the silver affiliation scrolls require 30 when it comes to getting them to level 5. However, when it comes down to getting them to level 10, you require 90 small, 70 medium, 50 large, 80 silver, and 50 gold scrolls. Now, these gold scrolls are only available through the epic raids. My recommendation for epic raids, especially if you have decent accessories, you can just auto the very hard version of any raid, and you should be able to auto it relatively well or with minimal attention paid to the game. That is honestly not really too hard to grind. Honestly, when it comes to the large scrolls, I don't even really recommend farming epic raids for the large scrolls anymore. You will honestly naturally get the large scrolls as long as you're farming out the Chronicle Quest exchange shop. I still would advise you to do epic raids if you can and if you enjoy it, not if you feel like you have to. Do not do anything in this game because you feel obliged to do so. You will burn yourself out, you will want to quit, and you will not find fun in this game. This is a mobile game. These games are made to keep you playing for several days on end, like whenever you want. Like, this is a gacha game, guys. Gacha games are literally designed to be grindy because you're not supposed to pick up and get everything in a day. You get this stuff over time. You have a whole month to farm epic raids. You have a whole month to farm Chronicle quests. You get 2 weeks to farm the point events. Don't feel like you are obliged to do everything within the first couple days. It's really not necessary, and it's not ideal, and you will burn yourself out. I've seen a lot of people quit this game because they feel it's too grindy. Honestly, I play this game maybe 2 hours a day without even really trying. Sometimes I'll log on, use my tickets, do it on Chronicle Quest, get my resources on that end, and then I leave. That's literally like my day on BBS, unless I'm playing with friends and doing epic raids with friends in the Discord. Another thing, when you're trying to farm epic raids, my recommendation is honestly do it from the Discord, link in the description. Do not do it with randoms. You will lose. You will literally think that this content is so much harder than it really is. And yeah, I mean, honestly, just link in the description. Team up with us. Feel free to join. It's a free to play Discord. Like, ain't nobody gonna roast you unless you have like really bad accessories and probably shouldn't be doing epic raids like I told you. But yeah, as you can see here, the resources go up by the same amount from level 6 to 10. So like, if you're wondering how much you need, how much is this, how much is that, this is going to be what you need for level 10, and this is going to be what you need for level 5, right? So as you can see here, the resources are actually not too bad. Keep in mind that gold progressively gets even more expensive, so a level 10 slot requires 5.6 million. For those that have been playing this game for a very long time, you have that in spades. But for those people that haven't been playing for a very long time, this might actually be pretty much where you end up getting cut out because you just don't have the gold. Don't worry about gold. Gold will naturally come through progress in this game. KLab's events, instead of giving us orbs like most of the other companies that actually allow us to summon with their celebrations, KLab just gives us gold. And I guess at the very least it has a need now, right? All right, so let's go into resources and talk about how to actually acquire everything that you need for Transcendence. First and foremost, Chronicle Quest is going to be your bread and butter when it comes to getting your small and medium scrolls. It is currently the only real place to effectively farm it. Each month, the shop gets reset. So if you pre-farm all the materials, these do not get reset. So if you really want to, you can pre-farm the entire month so that you can buy out the shop for however many months you need to later on. So every time the shop gets refreshed, as long as you have the resources to buy them, you will be able to do so. Now, my recommendation is going through all this as fast as possible. Now, keep in mind, even though the characters are usable, and even though some characters are bonus, just because you don't have the bonus character, it's not the end of the world, honestly. You can use raid characters, the 4 to 5-star raid characters, which almost everyone has a raid character now. Momo has a raid, going into random stuff, like Shunsui has a raid. Ganryu has a PvP metal exchange character. So these are completely attainable. Now when it comes down to the free chapters, honestly, I've seen a lot of people complaining about not having the bonus. Honestly, having the bonus makes a world of a difference. But even if you have all 3 bonus characters, you're getting only 4 times the amount. So someone that uses 100 tickets with 0 bonus characters is going to get the same, approximately the same amount of resources as a person with full bonus and that uses 25 tickets. So for every ×5 run, we get approximately 196 scrolls, right? So adding it all up, we got 196 resources. So as you can see here, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna see exactly how much these things cost. And these things cost, now there's 20 small scrolls of each, and then there's, all right, so as you can see here, I believe that it's 15 and 20, and going into it for the small scrolls. So even with all bonus, it looks like you'll need approximately 15 to 18 soul tickets to actually buy out one entire small scroll type. So say you needed 16 times 5, and then we wanted to go buy out the medium ones, assuming that this is 15 because I'm not 100% sure I started buying them. Say that was like 300 you needed. So 300 of each equals about 900. Say you need ×5, so say that's about 25 scrolls. So you need about 900. So you need about 900 resources, and that goes ×5. So like 900 divided by the 198 is roughly 5. Just like we're rounding up, assuming we need the most soul tickets possible. So say we need another 125 soul tickets, because 25 times 5 is 125. So you'll need about 205 soul tickets to buy out every single scroll for every single attribute for one part of the Chronicle quest, assuming, let me see if, so as you can see here, here's the same exact cost, and it looks like it would be roughly the same amount of stuff. So 205 times 2 would be roughly 410 soul tickets to just buy out these scrolls. Now 410 soul tickets does sound like a lot, but if you don't have bonuses, you go ×4 because we roughly get 4 times the amount. So you'll need 1,640 soul tickets to get to buy out the shop, assuming you have literally 0 bonus characters, and assuming that you actually play this game 24 times 60 and then divide that by 15, you get 96 soul tickets every single day, assuming that your stuff is always counting down. Now that sounds like a lot, but honestly, like no, then again, I don't have a life, but that's okay. That's okay. So let's see how many days you would need to farm 1640, assuming you have literally 0 bonus characters for anything. It would take you roughly 17 days to farm out both shops. So you have more than enough time to farm out both shops. Now obviously this is going to change if KLab decides to increase the soul tickets, because if they give us 50 soul tickets, honestly that's what, 12 hours without having to log in, assuming that you used all your soul tickets, which I honestly think could give people a lot of freedom. Back in the day, I had 5 soul tickets and I was literally waking up every single, like, I want to say I was waking up every single hour, because you get an hour and 15 minutes before your soul tickets are full. Like, I was really try hard in this game when I started this game. I was literally going to sleep, taking like a 40-minute nap, waking up, using my soul tickets, waking up, doing my soul tickets, and we didn't have no ×5 runs. We only have 5 soul tickets. So honestly, like, I'm personally fine with 25 soul tickets, but I could see why people would definitely want more. It would definitely give me a lot more freedom because I then wouldn't have to log in as much. And now with ×5 runs, you can just bust out everything pretty quickly. Now, Now, when it comes to the silver and gold affiliation scrolls, my recommendation is honestly buy them as you need them. These things, they give you so they're so available to the point where you don't really have to worry about them. Like, for example, this I would actually buy, like this would actually, like if I bought out this entire pack, I would get 400 silver Soul Reaper scrolls. Like if I bought out the entire thing, I would get 500 Soul Reaper scrolls, but a character only uses 80 anyways for one entire level 10 slot. So even if you max transcend the character, at most you're only using 400 scrolls anyway. So buying out an entire stack is kind of pointless. Also, if you're working on a character that's like Soul Reaper Captain, you're going to be using half Soul Reaper, half Captain anyways, right? So just, I wouldn't really recommend buying these scrolls unless you actually are about to use them. I wouldn't really buy them ahead of time unless you know for a fact that you're going to be working on that character. Going into Hogyokus, the best way to get Hogyokus, and the only real way that I honestly recommend, is having people add you and having people actually use you like a little cum slut. So for example, now I would honestly recommend people do Khan's Corner for Hogyokus instead of actually trying to farm Hogyokus. You'll usually get every now and then you'll get 1 to 2, or hopefully you'll get like a Hogyoku will. Honestly, I feel like Hogyokus are more in demand now just because you have to get a character to 6-star to begin with, and then you have to get a character Transcended, and Transcended requires, like I said, 3 Hogyokus every single level that you do. A lot of people think that they nerfed the Khan's Corner exchange shop because of misinformation. That is honestly not the case. I usually get a Hogyoku, I want to say every other run, like every other time, like as of right now. Yeah, like I've gotten one 3 out of 3. So like the Hogyokus are definitely there. The other ways to farm Hogyokus are going to be crystal runs, which are not worth it, which like you can find that in the power-up quests if under events. So the crystal runs, the jewel runs, and I'm not sure about the droplet runs, but the crystals and jewels definitely drop Hogyokus, but they are so rare, I honestly would not advise anyone to actually go and do that. Another way to get them, Hogyoku wills you can get from the droplet zone, I believe, as well as regular raids, but like I said, drop rate is really, really trashy. So my only real recommendation is going to be Khan's Corner for the friend points. Like with friend points, I highly advise you join the Discord, start adding people, make sure that they're active. What I like to do is if a person hasn't logged in for more than a day, I delete them and try to get someone else added in there just so that someone's always active. Like that's pretty much what I do, just because I don't want to buy Hogyokus, and since I'm a content creator for BBS, I don't want to be running out, right? Another way you can get Hogyokus is I believe you can get 3 Hogyokus every single month from each part 1 and part 2, and you can also pick up Hogyokus from the PvP Metal Exchange. You can get Hogyokus as well from Extreme Co-op, though I know that especially for newer players, getting to 3rd seat, getting to like specifically for Extreme Co-op can be quite a chore, but honestly, if you really, really need those Hogyokus, my recommendation is do your best to try to get there. It's actually quite easy to get to 3rd seat as long as you're actually active in the game using all your PvP tickets, which I actually kind of gotta do after this video. Alright, so let's go into actually how to build your characters with Transcendence according to PvE and PvP. So first and foremost, when it comes to PvE, you're going to want to build your character in order. An SP based unit with frenzy and very good range on their strong attacks is going to be more spiritual pressure based. So in order, I would recommend this. I would recommend spiritual pressure for the main stat, big damage boost. Focus will be the next thing you unlock because you want to get access to 100% crit rate. Now the reason that this is important is because focus was actually altered in order to be a less useless stat. Now it is percentage based, and every single amount of focus after 1,000 you actually get a damage increase. So 100% focus is applied through 1,000 focus since it's percentage based, right? So 100 focus is 10%, 400 focus is 40%, and for every little bit of focus over 1,000 you're actually getting a damage increase. So don't worry if you get a level 3 focus slot as well as leveling up your, like after you leveled up your focus to level 10, because this extra focus does increase your damage. After that, you're going to want to increase your attack. For a spiritual pressure based character, you do get more damage on your strong attacks with attack, but it is a small increase, especially compared to spiritual pressure. Then you're going to want to do stamina, and then you're going to want to do defense. Defense is still relatively useless. They'll probably work around it or something like that. I don't really see them doing much with it. And for the last slot, you're going to want to go as order. In order, you're going to want spiritual pressure, and then you're going to want focus, and then you're going to want attack. Like, in order. I'm not saying you can get all three, but I'm saying, like, if you have to prioritize, that's the priority. Alright, so going into nat builds, I'm going to come over here to my weaken just because I'm using him more of a PvE unit than a PvP unit. So as you can see here, I went with attack, then I went with focus, then I would go with stamina, then defense, and then the last slot's going to be spiritual pressure. However, I'm not going to level up the spiritual pressure at all because I use him with chappies. Now, don't think that you need a gold chappy. Just getting his focus to level 5 gives you access to 1,000 focus should you have just a regular chappy. 30% to all other stats includes focus, which 30% of 842 is 256, 255, 256, something along the lines of that, I think. Alright, and then going into the PvP based units, if you want to go with a NAD build, my recommendation is honestly going to go attack, then going stamina instead of focus, and then going focus, then defense, then spiritual pressure. Now, defense actually gets bypassed by spiritual pressure, so if you go against a spiritual pressure based team, just because you have defense but you don't have stamina, you will die. You will die a gruesome death. Then for the extra stat boost lottery, you're going to want attack, stamina, defense, and then I guess you can go with focus. Obviously, you don't want spiritual pressure when you're using chappies anyways. And yeah, and as you can see here, like this Chad, for example, he's max transcended for all intents and purposes, but they didn't level up the spiritual pressure because those resources are better used elsewhere, right? So you have all this extra stats, and then you have that one level 1 spiritual pressure. So even though you don't get the purple level color, so even though the level doesn't turn purple because you don't have the max transcended, you still have the same stats as a normal max transcended character anyway, so you don't have to worry about the spiritual pressure at all. All right. So my recommendation is honestly, don't waste those resources. The resources are very, very costly, especially for newer players. Now, if you're going for an SP build, my recommendation for a strong attack damage build, I believe I got this from Cool. It goes spiritual pressure, then stamina, then focus, and then attack, and then defense. Now, I wouldn't really recommend this build for PvE. Obviously, you want the focus if you actually have access to it, but that's pretty much how you're going to want to build your characters in case you're not able to nuke them down right away, especially characters like Yua, Belief Toshiro, Noitora, and Aizen. Now, one thing to note is if the character is being used as a link primarily, for the last slot, actually getting focus is a very bad roll. Now, focus is not translated when you actually use the character as a link. So for example, here's my Mugetsu. I'm using level 10 link slots across the board, and right here you see he's actually getting 0 focus from the link slots. There's no 20% focus from any of the characters, as you can see, literally right there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Transcendence in a nutshell. Epic raids does require you to be rank 30, but it's better to join. Alright, and last but not least, we're going to talk about the requirements to do Transcendence trials and epic raids. A lot of people seem to have a problem with this. I personally don't, but I've also been playing this game for a while, and I already have all the stuff required for this. You're going to need a character with a link slot level of 15 or higher. And what that means is pretty much you're going to need to get a link slot level of 15 or higher. So you could use a character with a level 10, a level 5, and then a level 0, or you can go 555. My recommendation is doing 555 because you'll actually save yourself 250 link slot potions. Getting a character to 1050 will require 1,000 potions. 555 will require 750 potions, which I honestly don't think it's really that bad. That's like, I want to say that's maybe 30 soul tickets in Inheritance Zone. Just do a ×5 run, do co-op, get in the Discord, have people help you out, and honestly, you'll be fine. Like, so yeah, I really don't think that it's that big a deal. This is the best place to farm out large scrolls, so that way you don't have to farm a lot of epic raids. Epic raids can become tiresome, so my recommendation is level up the character that you actually want to farm these trials in, and then after that work on other characters that follow the rules. Now for heart, power, and speed, you need attribute advantage characters. So for this one you need mind, this one you need speed, this one you need tech, and these also have range resistance. Range resistance is not guard break ranged guard break units. This is range resistance, so you need to use a melee character or you will deal 1 damage to the enemy. Tokinata does not guard break these. However, going into it, as you can see here, for this one you need power, for this one you need heart, and these actually have melee resistance, so you're going to need a range character for both of these. My recommendation is go for heart scrolls, go for power scrolls, go for mind scrolls, because that's spiritual pressure, attack, focus. You don't really need the speed scrolls or technique scrolls. You'll get that over time. Like, if you really need that, just start farming that. But as you can see here, I personally haven't even cleared it because I feel like it's kind of a waste, because these are your main damage dealers, right? Also, when it comes to epic raids, the requirement is rank 30, which I don't really think that's a big deal. I think that you should be rank 45 and up before you try to start doing epic raids. Now, when it comes down to epic raids, my recommendation, especially for like a newer player that's getting into this, get comfortable with the runs, and then when you get comfortable with the runs, all you really need is 1 level 10 link slot unit. Hopefully with bonus, and then you can just run full stamina damage boost. And if you get a full party with full stamina damage, and then with, you can honestly clear these runs in under 2 minutes easily. And then with faster clear times, you do less mechanics because you push phases so quickly, and then after that there's a lot more room for error, because if you're pushing through the phases so fast, you don't really have to worry about like dodging this one mechanic 3 times. You only have to dodge it 1 time because you pretty much kill the boss. But yeah, for that, like I said, join the Discord, link in the description. We almost always have people farming these epic raids like at all times. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, this is a mobile game. This is a marathon, not a race, and that's something that I definitely want to drill into you guys. I don't want anyone getting burnt out. Every time I hear someone saying they're gonna quit the game, I never want to bring them back, simply because I don't want to promote gacha games. I just happen to play this game and I like making content for it, right? But yeah, I personally find it scummy when people are like, don't quit, you wasted all this time, don't quit. Like, it's a game, like, you know, like how many games have you guys played and then stopped playing over time, right? Like, I'm sure half of y'all played like Grand Theft Auto 4, right? You eventually stop playing Grand Theft Auto 4, right? Like, I completely understand if a person wants to move on and play something else. But I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all know this guys, grind on, catch on, pick me up, stay blessed. I would hope this was helpful. I really do. And yeah, y'all know this guys, grind on, catch on, pick me up, stay blessed. Wish y'all the best of luck in your summons. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.